So I want to talk to you about something that I'm really passionate about, and that's Hostess Coaching. And if you're a brand new jeweler, which hopefully you're watching this and you're taking the time to learn all that you can, Hostess Coaching is a term that we use in Premier. It's not necessarily a word that you want to use when you're talking to your hostesses, so she doesn't think you've joined some kind of crazy cult and you're going to come brainwash her into doing something besides a jewelry show. I want to start out by letting you know that there's a few things that I feel are really important to know when you're going to go Hostess Coach. First of all, 70% of the success of your show has nothing to do with your presentation. It has to do with what your hostess does. Whether she gets her pre-sales, whether she actually gets people to come, if she makes her reminder calls to get those people to come. It's so important that we really coach her, because if she doesn't know what to expect, she may not have a successful show. So Hostess Coaching is all about building a relationship with your hostess, and it's also about coaching her what to expect. Now, before I get into what's in my actual package, I want to let you know whenever I meet a hostess to hostess coach, there's 5 things that I want to achieve. Number 1 is I want to make sure that I build some sort of a connection or relationship with her. Even when I'm dressed super casual, ladies, you can go hostess coach being casual and just being yourself, but make sure you have on big, bold jewelry and that you look like the jewelry lady, because you want her to remember again, especially if it's been a while since she's seen you, why she's actually doing a jewelry show. Number 2, I want to make sure that after I've built that connection relationship, ask her some questions about herself, maybe what she does for a living, about her children, just whatever I can to try to build that connection with her. The second thing I want to do is I want to set up some real expectations for her. The first real expectation is that she's not going to know who shows up until they actually walk through the door of her house. So it's really important that I set her up for that expectation that nowadays people don't RSVP. And that's just something that she's going to have to come to expect. I don't want her to feel like a failure or like there's nobody coming. The third thing that I want to make sure that I set up for her is the importance of her showing the catalog and having pre-sales. Because you know what? A show with pre-sales rarely postpones or cancels. If you want to bring your postponements and cancellations down, I highly encourage you to coach that hostess to make sure that she really works on those pre-sales. We can't control who walks in the door, but we can control the people that have told us maybe or no. And I always tell my hostess a maybe is probably a no, because that's just a nice way of her not committing to coming. So I want to make sure that my hostess knows pre-sales are really important, and that if she has $100 in pre-sales, there's no reason to cancel that show, because we are going to have a show. She's going to get free jewelry, and it doesn't matter how many people walk through that door. We're going to have fun. It is a fail-proof way to have a successful show with those pre-sales. Now, the fourth thing that I want to make sure my hostess knows, besides the fact that people don't RSVP, is that we're going to need to blanket her guests with a lot of different ways to invite. She may want to create a Facebook event, and that's totally fine, but Facebook, there's so many of them out there. Her friends may or may not respond to that. I like to send her an email invitation, as well as I always ask my hostess for at least 10 names and addresses, and I give her a 48-hour period to get those to me. The importance of that is because if I mail out 10 invitations, I know that at least 10 people have been invited, and I know that I had some control over that. So now if she wants to postpone or cancel, I need to remind her that I've already sent those invitations and that there's 10 people who she's going to need to contact and make sure that they know that we've had to postpone or cancel. Sometimes it's just not worth it. Sometimes it's better to just go with the show and have 3 or 4 people show up than to have to actually take the time to call everybody that hasn't responded and let them know. Finally, the fifth thing that I want her to know about when I hostess coach her is about the business opportunity, because so many times we say, oh, we'll wait until the show and I'll tell her about Premiere, she'll hear what I'm talking about, and you know what, it's too late. Because by then she's already had, if she's had a great show, she's already had her friends spend money. She may not feel like she can do a training show right after that. She may not understand that those bookings that book from that show could actually go to her. And so she may be discouraged and feel like, well, you know, now I've done a show and all my friends have already booked with this jeweler, and so I can't possibly do this. So I really want to make sure when I coach her that I coach her how to have a successful show, but then I'm also able to share the business with her. So the first 5 minutes of a hostess coach for me is just really talking to my hostess, not anything about Premiere, but just about her, just asking her questions and finding out about her and more information about how maybe I can serve her. I want to stress to you that Premier's done a fantastic job at putting together these great Hostess packets that you got in your My Premier startup. And if all you did was read this to a hostess front and back, you could phenomenally hostess coach someone. I'm not a big reader, and most people who know me know that, so I like to explain everything to my hostess. So what I do is after I've talked to her for a few minutes, I'll say, you know, Kristen, I just have a few things in here that I want to go over with you, and most of them are pretty easy and self-explanatory. The first things I have are 2 sets of catalogs, and I put 2 sets of catalogs in here for you because I want to make sure that you always have a set to keep on your person for everywhere you go in case you run into someone. And then I also have a set for you to pass around, maybe at your work, and you may actually want to use like a distribution list if you work with a lot of people, because what I've found is that if you attach a distribution list on the front here with 5 or 6 ladies' names that you want to see the catalog, people don't tend to stick it on their desk for a whole week and let it sit. They see that there's other people that want to look at it, and so they tend to pass it to the next person if they're not able to look at it right away. So that's something that may help you in passing this around. The other thing I want to share with you is that I'm going to just tell you that typically at least 4 people are going to tell you that they are so sorry they can't make it to your show. If you take these 4 order forms, and I only stick 4 in here for you, because if you got all 4 of those people to just place a $25 order, that would be your $100 in pre-sales. And I'm going to tell you, when we have $100 in pre-sales, 2 things happen. 1, we have a show, and 2, you get $80 in free jewelry. You get a $50 bonus gift card because you are going to hold your show on the day when you have $100 in pre-sales. Let me just tell you why. If you were to change the date of that show with $100 in pre-sales, you would lose your $50 gift card. But with $100 in pre-sales, you already have a show, so why would you cancel? Now, 30% of this is $30, but you also get that $50 gift card I mentioned. So I've got the $50 gift cards in here so that you can see visually that this is worth $50 with $100 in pre-sales and holding the show on the original date. So what I want you to really focus on is, you know what, Kristen, you have no way of knowing who's going to walk through the door until they actually walk through that door. But what you do have control over is seeing if you can't get those 4 $25 orders. So if you think you can do that for me, that would be fantastic. The other thing I have in here is what I call your secret weapon. Now, your secret weapon is what I call the secret girlfriend package, and this is wonderful because, you know what, it's basically self-explanatory. I'm just going to read it. It says, wow, your friend has chosen you to be her secret girlfriend at her jewelry show. Here's how it works. You get to show the catalog around to your friends and neighbors, collect $100 before tax and shipping, bring the orders filled out to your friend's jewelry show, and whisper to me, I'm the secret girlfriend, and you get to shop at half price at her show. Now, I'm going to tell you, Kristen, if you have a friend that knows a lot of people, that loves to shop, that loves jewelry, somebody that you know can take this and pass it around and do just what you're doing and focus on just getting 4 $25 orders or 2 $50 orders, however it works out. Once your secret girlfriend has at least $100 in orders, she is going to get to shop at 50% off just for helping you out. Now, between the 2 of you, that is a great show. You're halfway to our average show before anybody ever steps foot in your house. So if it's just your mom and your best friend and maybe a neighbor, I don't want you to even consider postponing or canceling, because we can always do something again down the road, but this is going to be a phenomenal show. So I want you to just tell me, is there anybody that you can think of right now that you think might be willing to do this and help you out, or that might like to shop at half price? I get her to tell me that person's name, and I'll say, I'll tell you what, I'm going to check back with you in 48 hours and just see if you found somebody who wants to take advantage of shopping at 50% off for getting those $100 in pre-sales. Does that make sense? Make sure that that makes sense. Now, I've stuck some invitation postcards in here. These are just some reminders. Remember, I told you that we're going to blanket the way we invite. We're going to use Facebook. I'm going to send you a cute pic collage that you can text out to save the date. But I'm going to tell you that the most important thing you can do is make reminder calls the day before the show, because 50% of the people who tell you they're going to come will forget. It's going to happen. Even if they told you 3 days before the show they're planning to come, it's really important that you give them a reminder call or text 24 hours before the show so that you have 50% more people in attendance than what you're expecting. These are emergency postcards. If you run into somebody at your daughter's dance or your son's soccer and you're like, oh my gosh, I so should have invited her. These are your emergency postcards. So between the pic collage, mailing out invitations, Facebook, email, however we can invite, these are also some invites in here for you to hand out. I have a birthday club for my hostesses. The month of your birthday, it tells you on the back here that you can contact me anytime and you get to shop at 50% off with me the entire month of your birthday. So just for being a hostess and not postponing or canceling your show, when you keep that original date, you also get the benefit of my birthday club for my hostesses. Now, I can't remember everybody's birthday, so I want you to put this on your refrigerator and I want you to tell me whenever your birthday is, Kim, I want this piece or whatever, and if you need to order a bunch at one time or individual pieces, you can do that. The next thing is our promotion. I always like to go over the promotion. This month for May, it's the Top Notch necklace. This necklace can literally be worn so many ways. You are definitely going to want to have a $500 show for this because there's actually a video that shows you 24 or 25 different ways that you can wear the Top Notch necklace, and all we have to do is have a $500 show. Now let me just go ahead and tell you, if you have $100 in pre-sales and your secret girlfriend has $100 in pre-sales, you're going to have at least $200+ in pre-sales. $300 in sales at the show is only about 5 to 7 guests, and that's an average show. So again, I just want you to focus on inviting people and reminding people, and then really pass those books around because that's where you have control. And then the last thing I'm going to go over before I finish this up, here's your other gift card. I'll go over that one in a minute. I put a little checklist in here for you of who to invite to remind you who's going to come, who do you need to show the catalog to. I'm a list person and you may not be, but this lets you know who do I need to make reminder calls, are they coming, do they want to place an order, and can they bring a friend. And I'm going to tell you that probably my most successful shows come from my hostesses who really promote people to bring a friend, because those strangers who come in to that jewelry show are the ones who are just coming because they want to have fun, they want to see the jewelry, they like the product, and a lot of times those are my biggest purchasers. So make sure that you encourage every guest to bring a friend. I have a hostess tic-tac-toe sheet, and this is really simple because I just like to tell my hostesses, look, all this stuff is great, pass the books around and invite. That's really the basis of what I need you to do. But these are 9 squares, and if you just did half of these squares, you're going to have a successful show. So I just want to go over. The first one says, hold your home show original date. Well, we've already set that. It's a given. We're just going to mark that one off. The next one says have $200 in advanced orders. I've already told you when you get $100 in advanced orders and so does your secret girlfriend, there's another X right there. Well, you're already at 200, sales of $400 or more. That's only a few more orders from the show. That's going to get you 1 tic-tac-toe. And 1 tic-tac-toe, I give you a black ribbon necklace that you can wear pendants and all kinds of beautiful pieces on. Now, this one says get 1 future booking on the show before your show. Premier also gives you a $50 gift card when we have 3 people book a show. So if there's someone that you know that tells you they're either broke or, oh my gosh, I love everything, I wish I could buy more, but I just can't, please make sure that you tell them that you need 1 person before the show. Is there someone that you're thinking of right now that maybe likes you, loves you, or owes you a favor that would possibly have a show? Christy? Awesome. Well, let's just write Christy's name down, and I would normally write her name down there so that you can ask Christy to be your 1 booking before the show. And this is important because you know what? If you have 1 booking before the show, and I get at least 1 booking at the show, which is pretty average, you can rebook yourself for anywhere down the road, and you are going to get the extra $50 gift card that I've put in your package here. It is worth $50 to have 2 friends book and you rebook for down the road because we get a new line of jewelry every 6 months. Now, if we get 3 friends, you can still rebook, but I really want you to focus on at least that 1 booking before the show. Complete your wish list. There's a place on the back of your hostess package or the front of your hostess package here for you to start writing down the pieces that you absolutely love, because I don't want you to forget anything. And I want you to remember that you're also going to get to shop at 50% off as a hostess. So if there's any birthday shopping, Christmas shopping, Mother's Day shopping, anything you have to shop for the entire year, teachers' Christmas gifts, I want you to be thinking about a budget for that, because because when you budget for those Hostess half price items, you're going to get additional free jewelry for that, and that's going to help you get even more pieces on your wish list. And let's face it, most of the time you're going to pay full price for something because you're going to run at the last minute anyway. Why not have some great pieces that you know everybody's going to like, maybe some $19 or $20 pieces that if you bought them at half price it would only be $9.50. And I'm going to tell you, your teachers are going to be a lot nicer to your kids whenever they get a great piece of premier jewelry and not an apple. 10 guests in attendance. This is the hardest one to do, but one of the ways that I want to encourage you to do that is by giving